Rick McGowan. Rick was many things to many people. Brother, husband, father, engineer, fun-loving friend, and teammate. Rick was on our men's team. He met with us every other week for the past 31 years. The purpose being to support each other, to define and achieve our personal and professional goals. When Rick was out of country, whether it was Indonesia, Nepal, Myanmar, Vietnam, or East Timor, he would call into our meetings. Always on time, never late, no matter the difference in time zone. In the late 1980s and through the 1990s, before there were speakerphones or Skype, we would huddle around a Radio Shack phone amplifier plugged into a landline. As an engineer, Rick was organized and kept lists. He once pulled 2 lists out of his pocket, having at least a dozen items on each. About 10 years ago, Rick shared that his memory was failing. This greatly bothered him. Over the next few years, it became apparent the issue was much more serious than simply forgetting things. His lists were now more important. Then, Rick was late to a meeting. He confused the time. Later, he missed the meeting altogether, got the date wrong. Soon, Rick would get lost, not remembering how to get to one of our houses. Our team simplified the meeting sites to 1 or 2 locations that Rick was most familiar and comfortable with. Eventually, Nancy would drive him to our meetings, and one of us would drive him home. That evolved into the team scheduling a man to pick him up and another to bring him home. To keep Rick active and so that Nancy could have a few hours to herself for her needs, men would take Rick on outings. I needed help removing the engine from my son's car and enlisted Rick, given his strength and for his companionship. Ever the engineer and inquisitive, Rick repeatedly questions, how will we remove that bolt? And how do you know how to do this, remove an engine? I was just making it up as we went along. I thought he might know something. Rick had a great love of nature and outdoor activities. Even as his ability to operate independently waned and the Alzheimer's progressed, his strength and vibrancy remained prominent. He had boundless energy, we've heard that a few times, and a need to keep moving. 2 summers ago, Paul Rocheleau began weekly hikes with Rick. Snake Mountain, Burke Mountain, Mount Fido. Once on the trail, it was hard to keep up with him. And he would ask, what's the name of this place? Often more than once. They'd race to the summit lookout, where Rick was always amazed at the grand view of the entire Champlain Valley. On one occasion, after reaching the summit, Paul was tired and needed to rest. A few moments later, when he turned around, Rick was gone. He had already headed down the mountain, the Energizer Bunny. On one of Rick's final bike rides, he disappeared. Nancy called the Swainers for help. Michael and John Guidry put word out to our team that Rick was missing, then drove to McGowan's house along a probable route that Rick might have taken, but no sign of him. A short time later, the Shelburne police informed Nancy that they found Rick riding his bike on Route 2A near Agway in Williston. Carol McDonald and most of our men's team arrived on the scene to find Rick in a rescue vehicle, having a great time hanging out and chatting up with the EMTs.
He was gone for 4 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Scary. Rick took off on his bike without telling Nancy, bought a 4-pack of craft beer with a credit card, and made it all the way to Williston. Not sure where he was headed.
Your house.
Halfway there. Rick always sincerely thanked us for our time with him, but it was as much each of us, who were grateful for being able to hang out with a true friend. We included Rick in our team meetings up until several months before the end, in spite of his repetitive questioning. So why are we here? Or, okay, I'm ready to go home. Occasionally, Rick would have a moment of clarity and surprise us with a few words of genuine wisdom. He taught us patience and how to just keep putting one foot in front of the other, going through life no matter what happens. We miss Rick and will